Exactly you're supposed to do when your ops are out here committing war crimes.
This tragic news out of Stockton tonight, where a child's birthday party turned deadly. 4 people are confirmed dead, 10 others injured after a shooting at an ice cream shop.
It's a completely unprecedented news. We received word that rappers MBNEL and Dougy were ambushed at a child birthday party last night and were apparently victims in a wild mass shooting that resulted in several children and adults getting senselessly slaughtered. Over 19 people are injured, and so far 4 are confirmed dead, which has become nationwide news.
That's crazy. It's no rules at all. Women, children, is no rules. They crashing out no matter who right there, which is sad. Like, I want to know what this beef is about. Like,
Overnight, shedding light on one of the most active rap scenes in North America. Many people might wonder what could have made ops this mad to really pull up and air out an infant's birthday party to try to murk their ops. But when you look at the history of gang violence in this area and the beef that MBNEL had with some of the most known rappers in the California scene like EBK you can see that this is just the latest casualty in the ongoing gang war between multiple homicidal gangs in the Stockton rap scene. So today, we gotta get into the deadly beast in the Stockton scene that led up to this brutal shooting. And we're gonna get into it right now. But before we do, I'm gonna need you to do this for me, man. Run this video up. We're on the road to 50K subscribers right now. If you're watching this, make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell so whenever I post, you tune in right away. And cop some merch, link in the description at staysafeworld.com. And don't sleep on hitting that hype button to get this video up, going crazy. So let's get into this right now. In order to understand how things got this crazy, with some creative player crash outs had to pull up and air out a whole party for a kid, you gotta understand how unhinged 2 of the main gangs in the area are between EBK and Flyboys, aka Mud.
what gang is MBNEL in? I never heard of these guys. I'm from the East Coast, but I guess I'm about to learn about them.
The Northern California drill scene is where serial killers go to make music. Imagine getting killed by a nigga and your diss track only gets 100K views. This is real life. The Stockton, California rap scene is the closest thing to giving Ted Bundy, Charles Manson, or Richard Ramirez a mic, and some of the hardest West Coast beats that have ever been made. This city's not even top 10 in state population, but has been #1 for the whole state in murder since 2010. While there's little hope in the armpit of California, somehow, someway, in the midst of the violence,
have released new images of suspects from a homicide investigation
Accused of murder.
the death and the destruction, fans became captivated with one group that made waves all throughout the state, EBK, a clique of Nightingale Bloods from Southeast Stockton that is home to legends in the California drill scene like Young Slowby, EBK Young Jock, and the face of California rap right now, EBK J-Bo. J-Bo was supposed to have a breakout year, being featured on NBA YoungBoy's tour and becoming the first XSL freshman to
I remember EBK J-Bo. He got some pretty decent music. And to get booked right before you go on tour with NBA YoungBoy is crazy. Like, that was a crazy opportunity, but he got booked right before that. That's crazy. But yeah, I heard of J-Bo. He got some pretty decent music.
recorded cypher in jail. It was supposed to be a movie. However, the streets would catch up and ruin his motion altogether. This group literally took its name to heart and is allegedly responsible for putting belt to ass against the whole city, and has come with consequences. To make it out of a place like Stockton is not easy. From facing one of the largest gang takedowns in California history,
I can tell you that this gang takedown that they just had is not only helping to prevent crimes that are just about to happen, but it's also helping to solve the ones that already occurred. Now, you mentioned it, what they took off the streets. So let me show you, and you can see them right there. 58 guns. 10 of them assault rifles, another 12 of those were ghost guns.
Members like Slowby and EBK Osama getting gunned down, to alleged shooters like EBK Lil Play fighting life for taking out one of the next big rappers in the city. The story behind the war in Stockton is one of the craziest that I've ever seen in America. Stockton, California is the forgotten city of California. Tucked in the San Joaquin Valley, it was once an essential place for farming and workers looking for places to live so they could commute to close by cities of Sacramento or the Bay Area. However, the 2008 housing crisis hit this city hard like many cities in inland California. Many became victims of predatory loans and the eventual foreclosures, which left poverty to run rampant. With people unable to pay taxes to the local government, even the city of Stockton was forced to go bankrupt in 2012 after running a deficit of $26 million. Like, bro, imagine being broke and you living in the literal brokest major city in America. It's not going to end well. This abject
Ain't well at all. It's just like the city can't even help you. You can't even help yourself. So it's just like you turn to just violence and drugs and just criminality.
poverty affected Black and Latino communities the most, and this led to many people joining gangs to survive and try to run up some bread when legal avenues ran out. One of these gangs was EBK, a mostly blood clique based out of the southeast of the city on 2100 Nightingale Avenue. Their most notable members, who we gotta talk about today, is EBK J-Bo, aka The Face, Young Slowly, Gone and Not Forgotten, and EBK Lil Play, another rapper who had potential but might lose his freedom to a beef with another clique with deep ties in the music scene that we're gonna get into in the next chapter, that most likely played a clear role in the shooting that happened last night. However, to understand how a war between two gangs could get this far, you gotta understand the tragic life of EBK J-Bo and how the Mud Boys / Flyboy Crips that MBNEL had associated with had played a tragic role in this. As the youngest and allegedly most reckless member of EBK J-Bo or Jamani Gorman pretty much had to learn how to be in the streets at a young age from the environment around him. From shootouts at school when he was a freshman to getting arrested with multiple gun charges, it seems like it all went downhill though in 2015 when his dad was killed in broad daylight by other teenagers.
Stockton father's murder, and they want to know why he was targeted.
Who's gonna take responsibility for the loss? You know, what can you do? You just gotta wait it out until it hopefully passes. But it's not.
We've learned the 16-year-old suspect in this case was already in juvenile hall.
But he was temporarily...
A 16-year-old killed a grown-ass person? That's crazy. I want to know why the gangs is just so dominant on the West Coast, you know? And not that I want this to happen, but like, it's just like it's normal over there. Because if it wasn't, like, why is it not like a lot of RICOs going on? You feel me? Not that I want that to happen, but like, there's no RICOs you really hear about going on the West Coast. And it's just gang filled. It's like gangs run that West Coast.
Free on a weekend pass, KCRA3's Kathy Park is finding out why.
Pamela Black lost her son James Gorman in a shooting Sunday inside his car at Hammer Lane in Lanark in Stockton.
For someone to kill him behind a pair of shoes is devastating.
Police say Gorman's sons
behind some shoes is crazy. Like, damn, it's that bad over there that they're trying to rob you for your shoes to possibly sell them. And if you don't give it up, they kill you over some sneakers.
were robbed in the morning. Later, Gorman went looking for the suspects and ended up getting shot and killed. Police say the gunman is just 16 years old and was already in juvenile hall.
January 5th, 2015 would be a day that J-Bo remembers forever, as his life would change in a matter of seconds. What started as a chill day in the park with his family turned hectic when two masked teenagers pulled a gun on them and robbed them of their shoes and cash. When J-Bo and his siblings would come home with all their items missing, his dad would go out and look for them to get their items back. Unfortunately, that would be the last time he was seen. Stockton police said they responded to a call of shots fired near Dalewood and Stockton. A short time later, they found a 30-year-old clinging to life inside of a Porsche at the intersection of Hammer Lane and Lane Art. Police say James Gorman, aka R. Rari, later died at an area hospital. This death definitely had an effect on J-Bo because pretty much from that point on, he would be in and out of jail every year. However, his dad was a rapper too, and it seemed like from that point on, he would take rapping serious as a way to get out of his situation. At the same time though, it seemed like the rap beef with another clique from the Stockton area would catapult his career, but would have him lose many to the streets, which we gotta talk about in the next chapter.
So that's a Blood. Fly Boys is the Crips, and Mud Boys and EBK is the Bloods. So it's a Blood versus Crips. That been going on for like centuries though, right? Am I right or wrong?
While EBK was becoming the face of Stockton rap, there were other cliques from the South that were also coming up in the rap scene, some of which even had close ties to members of EBK. One of those cliques was home to rapper MBNEL. MBNEL, originally born to Filipino immigrants in the South Stockton area in the 8th Street section, became active in the streets from birth, having relatives who were banging Asian Crip gangs. With no opportunities present at the time, he and his homies started gangbanging as a means to survive and created their own clique called Mud Boys. MBNEL has close ties to another infamous Crip set in the area called Fly Boys, with most notable rappers Jay Black, who was the original face of their side before his unfortunate passing, and Bands, who's the current face, who pretty much dropped the most incriminating no-jumper interview ever.
On my face?
The trophy. Oh, on the other side, yeah.
What did I say?
2,900K.
What is it? What is the top?
Above that, it's got a W.
With what in it?
It's like a W with bullet holes.
How many?
3.
Okay. nigga. They talking about.
And was arrested shortly after for a wild murder. Originally, the Fly Boys and EBK members from 2100.
Why do people self-incriminate themselves on camera? And then they'll try to blame like the platform or the person interviewing them. That's crazy.
Nightingale were pretty close. The older members had a shared history, so at one point back in the day, these two sides were just one.
From Mariposa to H, bro, just break down a little history, brother.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let my brother do it.
Well, basically, I ain't gonna lie, yeah.
Papa Fly ain't here, cuz I'm gonna let Cuz do it.
Like I said, like Bro said, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, yeah, it was all one. We niggas be out there getting money, all this shit, you feel me? And then, like you said, like, you know, like how shit happens. Older niggas go to jail, you know, niggas disappear, the structure get lost, you feel me? So, and then that's when it just picks up from there. It could be anybody. It could be a little 14-year-old nigga, he the one did this and that. Now he the one's making the shots. And then he'll have all these niggas under him.
Really?
Yeah, like
it was actually like that. Like 14-year-old kid kills a couple people, and then all of a sudden everybody has to like answer to him.
Killed a couple people.
However, a 2021 shooting of a beloved Fly Boys member who had ties to Nightingale would apparently launch an all-out war that would claim the lives of many. It would apparently kick off with the death of beloved member Jay Jonah on January 15, 2021. Stockton police responded to a report at 5:36 p.m. of Thursday shots fired in the area of the 7th Street and Nightingale Avenue. When officers arrived, they located a crime scene and learned a gunshot victim was transported to a hospital by a private party. The 20-year-old victim died a short time later at the hospital. This marked a major split within both groups as EBK J-Bo would go on to diss JJ on many records, most notably on the song Casualty with Lil Rye, where he'd say, Mr. Fly K, since 17, I've been on them niggas. Or mix Jay Jonah with the black, that's real Zaza. Yeah, it's safe to say if you're dissing like this, the smoke is too real and this is just more than rap. At the same time, that first bar kind of implicates that it had something to do with possibly the shooting with his dad or him finding out. While all of EBK's careers would go up sometime in the early 2020s, they would take a huge loss just the next year when their second biggest rapper, who was holding it down while EBK J-Bo was in jail, would die in a crazy shooting in a small city outside of Stockton, which we got to talk about in chapter 3, the death of Slowby.
Yo, that's crazy. So y'all want to know what else is crazy about this ordeal in the gangs in the West Coast? It's like you damn near gotta join a gang. It's like you have to, because it's like where you live at, because you live over there. So like other places or other cities, I mean not other cities, like other hoods are basically like, oh, you guilty by association. So it's like you gotta join the gang or you just gonna get crushed. So I'm pretty like curious to know how people who like don't join a gang or who like get out of there type shit, how do they do it? Because like everybody family, like the whole family are gang members. The hoods are all gangs and like you damn near gotta be a part of it. How do you not become part of it?
So we would talk about how the Stockton rap scene was like a crab in a barrel mentality, saying anytime they had some good shit going, someone going to go and try to fuck it up. It's wild because just days before he died, he would drop one of his best songs, Don't Come to My Funeral, almost predicting his death, because just 2 days after shooting that, a tragedy would go down that many felt was another casualty of the war. On August 5th, 2022, officers had responded at 8:17 a.m. to 176 Trevino Ave on reports of a possible shooting at an apartment complex. Witnesses saw Slowby ambushed in his complex and started to bleed out on the ground. They also identified a black Mercedes sedan as a supposed culprit, but police have never been able to find the culprit. However, fast forward a year later, and a rising rapper from the Fly Boys named Jake Black, who is slowly making a name for herself, become the next victim, and many people wondering if these two situations were related. However, in less than a year later, the trophy from Fly Boys would meet a similar fate after making songs dissing the dead, which we'll get into in chapter 4. The death of Jay Black. Jay Black was a rapper associated with the Fly Boys Crip set in South Stockton, and as I said before, they had numerous issues with members of EBK. Many felt that they had been responsible, especially because several members have died from there, such as Flyboy Lil Loss. This wouldn't stop Flyboy members from trolling EBK, even dropping songs dissing him, calling him Young Slow Feed. Keep in mind too, MBNEL had close ties to the Fly Boys, so this tied him into it too. It's safe to say that they wanted people to think that it was their work regardless if they did it or not. Unfortunately for their biggest rapper though, Jay Black, this all caught up to him in the worst way possible when he himself would be gunned down by several EBK members, one of which was a rapper close to EBK J-Bo named EBK Lil Play.
Deadly shooting 1 year ago.
Derek Gordon was taken into custody in Las Vegas in connection with the deaths of Andrea Jones and Jacob Haywood Thomas. The pair were killed in March of last year near South Airport Way and 8th Street. Two others, 18-year-old Io Sawaya Satwa and 16-year-old boy, were already arrested in connection with the murder.
In March of 2023, J-Back and 25-year-old Andrea Jones were posted up at a convenience store at 2100 South Airport around 6:30 p.m. when several masked
Y'all like this video for me. I appreciate it.
men pulled up and shots rang out. Andrea was hit and so was Jay Black, aka Jacob Hayward Thomas. Unfortunately, Jacob Hayward Thomas would not survive. Footage from the scene would show police trying to resuscitate him, but unfortunately, they would both die right there. Police had a crazy double murder on their hands, so they made sure to use all their resources to try to figure out. And in doing so, they would find a member of EBK responsible, which would end up just continuing this already crazy beef. They say that MBNEL had a crazy beef with EBK to worry about, and even beef with other Asian Crips. He would almost be killed in a crazy shooting incident with another Asian Crip where he was shot at over 22 times, as well as having many documented instances getting robbed or jumped in Stockton. But nothing would compare to what would go down yesterday in a mass shooting that killed literal multiple kids.
Officials investigating a deadly mass shooting, killing at least 4 people and injuring 10 others during a party in Stockton, California.
They have 4 victims. We might want to get some more resources.
Police say they received reports of shots fired around 6 p.m. Saturday at a banquet hall. First responders rushing to the scene where at least 14 people, including children, were shot and taken to local hospitals.
It's crazy. All the cops gotta do is sit back and wait. You know, somebody gonna incriminate themselves. They're gonna post it. They're gonna claim it, and you know the cops gonna go for them. But just wait. You gonna know who did it.
Witnesses say they heard several rounds of gunshots.
There was 3 sets of gunfire. That wasn't really too concerned about it, but then the next 2 sets came, and then all of a sudden there was all these police were here.
Investigators say they believe this was a targeted incident and the suspect remains at large.
Our #1 priority is ensuring that we find that suspect and hold them accountable.
The Central Valley community now reeling amidst the gun violence.
This is Thanksgiving weekend. This is when families come together, celebrate, share memories, give each other love.
The shooting occurred just before 6 p.m. in northern part of the city, according to the sheriff's office. The banquet hall, which shares a parking lot with several businesses, including a Dairy Queen, was hosting a family celebration that investigators were told was a birthday party for a young child, with over 100 to 150 people in attendance, Brent said. Stockton is about 40 miles south of Sacramento. Children and adults were among those shot, according to Heather Brent, a spokesperson for the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office. Officials did not immediately release the conditions of those taken into the area hospitals. Early indications suggest that this may have been a targeted incident. This is a very active and ongoing investigation. Information remains limited, she said, but she did say that those killed were ages 8, 9, 14, and 21. Unfortunately, this is probably the craziest story that I have ever covered in this channel, with multiple kids dying for this, so it's just nothing but prayers that we could give to this family and this community, because this is insane.
Maybe they didn't know kids was going to be there. You know, maybe they didn't know that. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt to hope they got some type of, you know, heart. They didn't know kids was going to be there.
And whoever is behind this is probably one of the craziest crash out people that I've ever seen. Whether it be EBK, whether it be any of the other gangs in this type of situation, or anyone that was beefing with Flyboys or anyone else, man, this is honestly crazy. But let me know your thoughts on this real safe.
Damn, that was crazy. They pulled up. They didn't care that it was kids there. Or maybe they got there and saw kids and said, fuck it, we here now. But damn. You see how you being in the streets, it can affect your family, your kids. It can affect anybody around you. You know, it's just sad. It's just sad. What's your thoughts on this? Y'all like the video? Subscribe to the channel. 1,000 subscribers is the goal. We almost there. I appreciate it. And I'll see y'all in the next one.